2 chilling paranormal stories. Number 1. The Buried Children. When I was 3, my parents moved us into a new neighborhood. The house was nice, but kind of old. The neighborhood was an old 50s tract home area, so it had a pretty varied group of people living there. As soon as we moved in, my dad started noticed weird things with me. He would hear me giggling and laughing in my room, and whenever he went in and asked what was so funny, I would tell him that the kids were being funny. He would also come in to wake me up and find me curled up in the closest. This happened over and over again, but my parents didn't think much of it because I was a pretty imaginative kid. The thing that wigged them out the most was that I flat out refused to walk out the front door. I would scream and yell and cry until one of my parents carried me in and out of the house. When you walked in the front door, to the right there was a closet and to the left there was a low brick wall that separated the front door from the living room. It was about 4 feet high and about 3 feet long, just a room divider, but I never touched it or wanted to be near it. After we had lived there for a few months, my dad started making some renovations to the house. Among them was demolishing the wall. My parents dropped my brother and I off with our grandparents the day they were going to do it so that we wouldn't be underfoot. We didn't end up going home for a week. When my dad knocked down the wall, he called the police. Inside the brick wall were bones that turned out to be from children. The cops never did figure out who put them there. The house had been owned by a lot of people, many of them who had rented it out. So it's just one of the many weird things that happened in my town that was never figured out. Number 2. The Unknown Robber. I heard someone shaking my locked door in the middle of the night for about a minute. It woke me up. I opened the door and my dog started barking like crazy, looking down the stairs. That's where my room is, although she's usually asleep on a bed at the end of the upstairs hallway. Woke up my dad and we went downstairs. He's on the 3rd floor, I'm on the 2nd, we went to the 1st, and all the doors were locked. The living room light was on. Also, I have a doorway separating 2 sides of my room and I hang a mirror box that can be opened to store jewelry and trinkets. It makes a distinct noise if you quickly move it or shake it. I heard someone shaking it a few weeks ago, and it woke me up. Next morning, the baseball bat I keep next to my bed was on the ground. That was really weird, because the bat was leaning against the wall and the bottom part was inside of a box filled with junk. In the morning it was completely on the floor, but the box was untouched. But I don't really care, as long as it's not a robber.